Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Strength Goku Black that recently got his Dokkan Awakening as a part of the World Tournament. So obviously being a World Tournament unit, he got his Dokkan Awakening as part of the World Tournament. However, they do have slightly reduced stats, so going to be interesting to see just how good he is. But he's a strength type lead of HP attack and defense of 90%. He greatly raises attack and defense for one turn and causes supreme damage to the enemy whilst lowering attack and defense. He also has attack and defense of 100% plus an additional defense of 20% with each attack received up to 100%. He gives all future Saga category allies Ki +1 attack of 20% and defense of 10%. And he gives all time travelers category allies Ki +1 and attack of 20% and defense of 10%. He also has an additional 50% attack when attacking a super class enemy. He has Fear and Faith, Nightmare, Cold Judgement, Big Bad Bosses, Prepared for Battle, Dismal Future, and Shattering the Limit as his links, which is pretty decent stuff. And then he also has the Fear and Faith, Nightmare, Cold Judgement, Big Bad Bosses. And then he's also on Realm of the Gods, Potara, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Inhuman Deeds, Corroded Body and Mind, and Worldwide Chaos categories. So right off the bat, not too crazy in terms of defense. Obviously the main goal or the priority is to get him to be hit. So that's obviously going to assist in kind of improving his defense. He needs in total 5 attacks so that he can obviously have the highest level of defense possible. Also attack stat, not too crazy there. Obviously he is providing support to the rotation, 40% attack in total if the category or the unit is on both the Future Saga and the Time Travelers category. I think he's a pretty good unit. I do think with World Tournament units, because of their low stats, you do generally need them to be pretty much rainbowed to look anything close to like being usable in super hard content. But with his very nice link set and his pretty decent capabilities, I think overall he is honestly pretty solid. I wouldn't say he's an overtly spectacular unit. He's not the kind of unit that is, you know, insane, but I think he could be usable on certain teams. Definitely he is a unit that kind of bolsters the Goku Black builds of teams a little bit, which I think is pretty decent overall. One thing I will draw attention to is his link set. Link set is pretty strong. Here we can see him with 98,000 defense. He's got double supports in this rotation, which is obviously something that's pretty important to remember, but he has only received 1 stack, so we should see that defense climb quite significantly. Like I said, one really nice thing about this unit is honestly the fact that he has a really good link set. Cold Judgement, Big Bad Bosses, Prepared for Battle, Nightmare, Dismal Future, and Fear and Faith are all very, very good links that all are not only versatile and give him the ability to be usable in a lot of situations, but they actually also give him a ton of improvement and room to improve as well. So very, very good stuff for him overall, and honestly I think he does a fantastic job. Now in terms of everything else, obviously he receives his majority attack boost when he is facing super class enemies, which is important. Most characters I believe do receive that attack boost and find it to be most productive in that situation. But if I speak plainly, I think he's pretty decent overall. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a unit that players need to have, but I wouldn't say he's in any way a unit not to have. I think he's very, very good, and I think a lot of players are going to get some usability out of him, especially if you're a fan of Goku Black. If you manage to have this guy with a couple dupes in him, he could be really, really solid. Obviously link leveling wise, you could gain a lot from link leveling him. Big Bad Bosses alone is worth link leveling for the most part. but it is definitely a situation where, you know, it's obvious that link leveling him would help, but whether it's worth link leveling a World Tournament unit is always up for debate. I think most players will find that, you know, distinctly link leveling a World Tournament unit for his improved performance isn't the greatest. But you can see his defense has gone up 133,000. That is without Big Bad Bosses active. So there is definitely this feeling of that there's room to grow with this unit. If you rainbowed him and if you put equipment on him, I think you could get a pretty solid unit out there. Not saying that you would get something crazy, but I definitely think you would get him to hit the 200k mark, most certainly with equipment and with being fully link leveled and being rainbowed. He does also greatly raise defense on his super, which is relatively quite helpful, but yeah, basically it is pretty rough, I would say, yeah, for most players. If you don't have him with all the necessary accompaniments, he's not going to blow your mind, but he will look relatively solid, and I think that's really where he stands. One nice thing is he does obviously provide support, so if you are someone that's looking for that, then fantastic. But other than that, there's not too much that he provides. Basically support, fantastic, and then beyond that, pretty much everything else is just needs must with him. So yeah, for me overall, quite happy with his performance. I do think you could get slightly better performance, but I think for the most part he looks really solid. At least for me, I think he looks really great. So yeah, personally really happy with his performance. I think there's room to grow. Don't think he's ever going to be a major unit, but yeah, could be a nice fun support to run on teams, especially on the Goku Black team. Give it a little bit more synergy, give it a little bit more playstyle. Could help out in like some SBR and ESBR. He does lower attack and defense, which is always helpful, speaking plainly. So yeah, pretty happy with him overall. And if I was to say anything, I would say definitely give him a bash. But in terms of links, I think for the most part you definitely want to focus on his links of Fear and Faith, Prepared for Battle, which are great key links. Then Big Bad Bosses is probably your next focus. Cold Judgement is a great link, but it is difficult to get in conjunction with Big Bad Bosses. They very rarely give Cold Judgement and Big Bad Bosses to units, and for good reason. They obviously don't want a unit to be gaining almost 50% defense from their links too often. But he links relatively well with pretty much any Goku Black unit. So any Goku Black unit, Zamasu unit, he basically shares 4 or 3, 4 or 5 links with, which is always acceptable. Definitely always a super duper solid kind of unit to use, and just gives you that kind of good solid base of a link set. He obviously has Shattering the Limit, being a World Tournament unit, so that is one hindrance, I guess, just if you are needing to understand that. But beyond that, there's not too much. I wouldn't say like there's distinctly too many other hindrances for him as a unit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, I think he's great. Personally, I like him. I wouldn't say he's not a top tier unit by any extent of the imagination, but I like what they did with him, and I think if you are lucky enough to have a couple dupes in him, to get that stats up so that those defensive stacks build up a bit faster, I think you'll end up having a good time. Not saying you're going to absolutely crush content with them, but you should end up having a pretty solid time, and you shouldn't really feel like he's hindering you as long as you take him to the right content. Red Zone Destroyer, not quite, but fairly competent floating support in some older SBR, maybe in the LGEGT, things like that, definitely. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me. I think that's pretty much everything we need to cover with this guy. I don't think there's anything else too major that will change your opinion on him. if you have them, give them a try, especially if you're looking for someone to augment your Goku Black, kind of Goku Rose as a master team. But yeah, that's basically going to be it from me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.